We are going to keep that weather impact alert around really through about 11 p.m. midnight. Really, this snow really exits as we bring in the new year. So we are going to see some snow and a lake effect, and it's going to add up for most of us, particularly those lake effect areas could see additional accumulations that really slow down travel, but everyone's going to have at least the potential to need some extra travel time as we go through the day. We do have some lake snow warnings in place for Lake Geauga, Ashtabula County. That's where we're going to get a little bit of help in terms of that lake effect. That's going to help totals to get a little higher out towards those areas as we go through the day. Many other counties with winter weather advisories, where we're just expecting some accumulating snow later today that could cause some issues. And of course, we had a little bit of that through the overnight hours. Temperatures still struggling, definitely cold enough that it's all snow out there. Most of us teens to low 20s, feeling even colder. Our winds are still on the breezy side, cold enough that it's a really fine snow that fell through the overnight hours, almost a little glittery out there. Much of that steady snow that we had through the overnight hours has moved out. Still a little bit of that lingering down towards Holmes County right now through the Millersburg area and beyond, heading south from there, but the lake effect is taking over. Now that our first clipper system has moved out, that lake effect is going to be our main focus as we go through the morning and at least into lunchtime or so before we see our next clipper arriving. So we've got a good band coming in off of Lake Erie here, really focused across areas of Lake County. So that includes a good portion of 90 where Mark was driving there, good portion of 20 as well. Some of that snow getting into northern Geauga County and pushing into Ashtabula County as well. So that's where we're really going to see the bulk of the slowdowns, if you will, through the day or through the rest of the morning and early afternoon. But roads are still looking pretty decent. A lot of those highways at least are pretty good. This is a look at I-90 at State Route 91. And you can tell it snowed certainly, but cars are getting through. So factor in a little bit of extra time as we go through the day, but really not too bad out there for this morning. Be a different situation by the time we get into the evening. We had clipper 1 that moved through overnight. That is exiting off to the southeast. Here's clipper number 2. That's going to be heading our way and give us some more of that widespread snow as we get towards the afternoon and evening. So that could be an impact for everyone through the second part of the day. We'll walk through this National Design hour-by-hour forecast. Winds are going to stay breezy. Temperatures really stay stuck in the 20s for much of the day. That lake effect band is what we're going to be watching as we go through the morning and through about lunchtime or so. That's going to be our main focus. As we head into the afternoon hours, we get that steadier snow to return to the picture with this next clipper. So that's going to move in by kind of the late afternoon hours. Anybody who's still working out there for today, we do have some snow falling for almost everyone through that evening commute. So plan on some slowdowns there. And even if you just have plans to maybe head out to ring in the new year through the evening hours, we're going to continue to see snow around. Everyone's going to have that chance for snow. And we could get some stronger pushes of snow where we get some heavier bands and some snow squalls to set up. That could produce some heavier snowfall rates, and that could mean some very low visibility from time to time, and also some quick accumulations for a few areas, and also some issues with travel. So this snow is going to be exiting as we get towards the new year. We ring in 2026 with drier conditions overall, and that's going to be the way many of us stay for the rest of the week. Still a chance for a little bit of isolated lake effect as we get into later Thursday and Friday, really focused on those primary snowbelt areas. We do look much drier heading into Saturday and Sunday. So looking dry for our first weekend of 2026. Rest of that Union Home Mortgage forecast. Again, weather impact alert for today. That snow is winding down by midnight. A little bit of lake effect for the next couple of days, and then we're dry for the weekend. We're going to keep our temperatures struggling in the 20s and below freezing for the rest of this week. And then we're looking a little warmer heading into next week in that first full week of 2026.
Hello and happy New Year's Eve. I'm meteorologist Christian Mares with your national forecast outlook for today. We are looking at quiet conditions across much of the south. We have a high pressure system situated across the south that's really going to keep conditions clear and chilly for us. However, folks in Southern California and portions of Arizona, they're still dealing with widespread showers from Los Angeles all the way to the Bay Area. And that system is going to continue to bring those showers as we head into this evening. And then for folks off to the northeast, we're likely to see more of those snow showers moving into portions of western PA and portions of western New York, especially as those snow showers move off the Great Lakes. So as we look at our today's forecast, high temps topping out in the mid-30s, especially for New York City, Philadelphia 35, Washington, D.C. at 40 degrees. In Pittsburgh, you're going to see more of those snow showers out towards the west of some of those areas. But across the south, we're still looking at chilly conditions, but sunny skies, highs in the 50s for today. And then 60 in Jackson, Little Rock, 58. Folks out in Florida, they're looking at somewhat chilly conditions across Florida as well. So the cold conditions is reaching as far south as southern Florida and then across Texas. 65 for a high in Houston, San Antonio 68. So we are off to a pleasant start to our New Year's Eve, especially for this afternoon. And then, like I said before, folks that are in the northern areas likely to see some snow showers from Green Bay to Chicago. Chicago is expecting a high of 36 degrees, 33 in Minneapolis, Bismarck at 22. So folks out in Southern California likely to see more of those snow showers, and then 58 degrees in Las Vegas for this afternoon high. And then for the Pacific Northwest in the 30s and 40s with finally mostly quiet conditions for Washington State into Oregon. So as we ring in 2026 here across the nation, this is looking at the temperatures later on tonight. We are going to be in the 40s across the south. For folks out in the northeast, you're still going to be looking at those snow showers, but as we ring in 2026, likely to be at freezing in New York City. And then across Southern California, you're still also looking at those rain chances that are going to persist through much of the day. So as we look at that travel forecast, as folks, travel across the area or across the country heading back home, we're still going to be looking at another weak cold front that is going to cause some slightly cooler conditions for the weekend for folks in the south and the southern part of the U.S. But we are still expecting those above average temps for Houston, getting up to 82 degrees, and likely to see more of those showers moving through western portions of our area. So the drought report is showing increasing drought conditions. Unfortunately, most of us have been mostly dry this year, and we are seeing those drought conditions becoming a little bit worse for a large portion of the country as we head into 2026, but expecting it to be warmer than normal across Texas and across some more portions of the central portions of the U.S. But as we look at that city forecast for today, a rather pleasant outlook for Dallas-Fort Worth getting up to 64, but Seattle topping out at 45.
Hello, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Stanonis. Lake effect snow, it's a rare and unique weather phenomenon, and it can happen anywhere there's a large enough lake with cold enough air flowing over the relatively warmer lake water. A more common place for this, for all the weather ingredients to come together, well, it's the Great Lakes region, and that's where we see most of that lake effect snow happening. And lake effect snow, as we know, can have a big weather impact. So let's go more into detail on that and how lake effect snow develops. Well, you get colder air that moves over the warmer lake water, and as that warmer air rises, since it's more buoyant and less dense than colder air, as it rises, it cools and condenses and forms clouds, then precipitation and snowfall that dumps downwind of the lake and over land. And you can get multiple feet in a short period of time from lake effect snow. There are three main weather ingredients that need to come together for this. One, cold enough air flowing over that relatively warmer lake water to generate enough of that instability for convection and that rising air. And the greater the temperature difference, the heavier the snow can be. And you can even get thunder snow. Also, you need enough atmospheric moisture in place to get those snow crystals developing and growing in that rising unstable air. And three, the wind flow over the lake, best case, is over the longest fetch or length of the lake, giving that air more to work with in terms of generating more instability and producing snowfall. So the direction of the wind flow is important for the snow amounts and locations of the heaviest snow bands. For instance, over Lake Erie, when you get that southwesterly wind flow, that's when areas just northeast of the lake can get a lot of heavy snow, including Buffalo, New York. Same for a westerly flow over Lake Ontario. The eastern end of the lake then can get buried in the heavy snow. Another unique thing about lake effect snow is it is very localized. The lake effect snow bands are usually pretty narrow, sometimes only 10 to 15 miles wide, and just a few miles north or south of the band can be mostly sunny. And get this, a lake effect snow machine can just keep going and going for hours and days, generating significant amounts of snow. very quickly as long as the main weather ingredients stay in place. Lake effect snow events can be very intense and of long duration, producing snowfall rates up to around 5 inches per hour, creating whiteout conditions and blizzards. Massive amounts of snow, multiple feet of snow, can be produced in just a day. And lake effect snow events can last many, many days, which can shut down local cities and airports. That's why it is important to stay weather aware of updates on where and when lake effect snow bands can develop, and have a safety plan in place, such as enough supplies to hunker down through the storm, also alternate routes and travel plans well before lake effect snow happens. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Stenonis.